Hey guys, so welcome to this Landlord update for end of July, end of June. What am I saying? I've lost track of dates. But look, surprisingly things are still pretty good, and I think the bounce back has happened as people thought. In fact, probably even better, and it's almost surreal in terms of thinking that who would have thought that in the worst possible recession, statistically in 300 years, and we're about to hear that on the 1st of July, which I said in my last video, that this would be the case. But you know what? Lettings has not only gone back to normal, and really, if somebody comes we get people in, it's, so vacant periods are quite numb. Some of those people who are in the middle of it possibly have had a longer vacancy period, but actually now things are getting back on track, and probably the last week or two, we've seen a lot of properties go, and I think if you've had a bit of a long wait because of coronavirus, because we couldn't get in there and that, we're starting to see the uptake of properties really good now, so that's quite good. Look, rents have probably dropped around 5%, but primarily that's in London, not actually everywhere, because actually a lot of the places are getting relet at what they were before, or maybe, give or take, we've even had stuff above. So don't believe people are saying to you that rents have dropped. They haven't, but in places like London, that's probably the most prevalent place where they have, okay? And especially where there was already a lot of properties on the market just has to adjust, because obviously a lot of people have moved. Especially international students, and London is very internationally led, they've gone back to their country and they haven't been able to come back yet. But what we're expecting is when they do come back and they've got to go to college, or they've got to get back to work, or those sort of things, if they are doing that, well, that plays into your favour, and that could possibly see the bounce back up of rents. But obviously if you've got a vacancy period now, that's the worst. And yeah, it's interesting, we've had, the worst person was probably 5 properties all at once, hand notice, but all 5 of those have been relet again, So yeah, I've had a few pull out and actually be silly about that, and I've just flipped them off and got something new in. So it's actually, it hasn't been as bad as everyone thought, and I think the furlough and the things the government has done has worked really well. But look, the other thing too is, guys, what I've done now, if you go to ezytrac.co.uk/letting-series, you'll get, I've done a series of 6 videos. Now, there's only 2 in there right now, but they'll be up there in the next few days as I edit them. But it's a whole series on getting it let the first time. So if you're not really sure what's happened, you're not really sure the process, you're not sure where people say, oh, we're going to drop the rent, and things like that, now's the time to have a look at that, because what it'll give you is a really good, and look, we've had 3,000 properties that we've let. We currently have about 1,300 properties we manage. So lots of experience. We're going on 20 years now. 15 years. 15 years of lettings experience. Okay. So there's a bit of wisdom there, and there's a bit of thing. And so what I do in this series is delve into what it actually is to get your property let, and the no bullshit stuff. Sorry, I should have said BS, but anyway, you know what I mean. Because there's so much in this industry, there's so much crap, and there's so much, people saying, oh, the balcony's not there, I don't like it, the bedroom's too small. We knew all this before you let it, so that is a way of, selling up, managing down, sell down, manage up. And if you don't know what that is, I explain it in the actual the video series. So it's a really insider's view into how we get this done, okay? And you'll see that it is I treat it as a methodical process, as a mathematical equation. And when you do that, you get it let every single time. And we do, It's very rarely that this doesn't happen. Now, there is reasons why and that sort of stuff, but have a look at the series if you're really interested. It goes for about an hour and a half. It's broken up into 6 or 7 videos, but it's worth watching, especially if you're stressing and you're not really sure about the process and it's the first time you've been through it. For some of you old guys that have been there for ages and you've seen it come and go and tenants over and over again, you're probably like, you know what, not even worried about it, so. But yeah, look, interestingly, we're finding lots of desperate agents that are saying really stupid things and making promises that I don't know how they can keep. And it's almost like they're desperate for the business. And I think the reason is prior to coronavirus, there was news articles about 7,000 agents at risk of going bust because they're in financial difficulty. Now there's probably even more than that, and so what we're starting to see is some of these comments that are coming out about, we're seeing people, in Manchester saying they'll let, in a day, places in London. You're like, you're a friggin' idiot, The problem is they're trying to get you on board, get you all signed up, and then when they don't perform it, they'll deal with that then. There's just so much BS out there from desperate people, Just be really careful about all that sort of stuff. Your gut will tell you what's real and what's not. But people are doing that, they'll be out of business in 6 months, or discounting fees down to where you just can't make money, now the level of compliance that you need to get into, is so great. It's almost ridiculous with that now. But anyway, another one, we're back into doing renewals. So renewals are back on now. We kind of got through coronavirus. We didn't do them for a while, and the reason was quite simply because, or we didn't suggest you do them, the reason was quite simple, because if you renewed, you've literally got 4 months before you can issue any notices, and then another 2 months, so you've got another 6 months. So if they went straight into issues with coronavirus, it could be 6 months down the track before you can actually even do anything about it, okay? On that same vein, now it's okay, fine. You can't actually evict yet, and that's the next point, is the extension of the eviction through to the 23rd of August. So no evictions until then. Remember, you've got to start the process. You can start the process now, but you can't actually undertake eviction. And you don't undertake eviction, the court does. So until the 23rd, they're in there, okay? After that, hopefully that should be fine. It's disappointing, and for a few of you guys that are in that situation, one of our landlords, I really feel sorry for him. He's into his 2 years now, I think it is, in a London property, £1,800 rent per month. Okay, we finally got the High Court judgment against the person. She was just terrible, the worst possible tenant. And basically they finally said get rid of her. The High Court enforcement guys couldn't get in there quick enough before the lockdown, and now she's got an extra 6 months of rent free. She hasn't been paying for over 2 years. It's appalling that people like that are allowed to stay in their place. Now I've got no problem, no sympathy. I've got sympathy for genuine cases. She is not a genuine case. She's just abusing the situation. But anyway, we'll give you a full update on that because it's a legal process and that. I'm not going to say too much. I'm not going to name names or dates. But actually, I want to do a whole special on her. And I'll name names then and everything, as long as the landlord gives me permission. But I think it's worthwhile because really it's disgusting and despicable. Anyway, you can see I'm not very happy about that. I don't like you guys being taken advantage of. The market, so the market's a surprise thing. It's bounced back, and actually people are now saying 3 to 5% growth this year, which I just think is, I'm still a bit more pessimistic than that. I actually think prices realistically are coming off, and I think they will come off for this year. But a lot of people are saying, no, there's so much pent-up demand, and the government programs such as Help to Buy and things like that are actually getting the thing back. But the other side of it, which I find interesting, could actually be it too, is the fact that more of my staff now have come to me because they've saved money through the coronavirus, being furloughed or being at home, that actually for them, it's worked out really, financially well for them, which is great news. So they're asking how they can get a mortgage, and can I help them out, and make the referrals and do all that sort of stuff. And so that's really positive. And I love our staff getting houses and getting on the property ladder and becoming investors and homeowners just in generally. Finally, and this plays into the market too. What's happening? A lot of valuers and a lot of lenders are suggesting that they down value whatever the prices were, take 10% off. Now that's a really good indicator for where the market is. If you remember back 6 months ago or 5 months ago as we first went into this, 4 months ago, whenever it was, when we first started talking about coronavirus and its possible impact, I was saying probably 10% as I thought where it would be. Okay, and at that stage I said there's no deals. Now there's deals, and now there's starting to deals come to the table. I've actually got a consortium, a couple of consortiums actually, that have 40 million, 60 million, these sort of numbers, 30 million, and they're looking to buy property, which is great news. But the 10% drop is about where I think we will be, through this period. So, you can expect that we're already negotiating that, those prices down. But that for me, that could bounce back too. In places like London, we're seeing a lot of valuers that aren't really dropping much. A lot of developers that aren't really dropping much because they know that they can afford to hold out for another 6 months, and the market will probably bounce back because the London market kicks off first, and if there's a drop, it'll come back, and that's probably what we're going to see. But guys, look, so that's your update for the night, for the month, if you like. things are pretty good. They're really good. If you've got individual circumstances, yeah, there's some crappy things happening where tenants aren't paying and things like that. They're the exception, not the rule. For the most part, tenants are really well behaved, and you've got to hand it to them. And you've got to hand it to the government that they have, produced that environment. So good news. And of course, any questions you've got, send them through to me at webinars@gladfish.com, or you can speak to your dedicated property manager and they'll be able to answer anything. And yeah, guys, have a great day. Live with passion. See you later. Bye.